Hi, today I'm going to explain the remote hookshot displacement glitch in Majora's Mask. First, I'll briefly explain remote hookshot. With milk, hookshot, and empty bottle on my C buttons, I aim the hookshot in third person. I drink the milk, and now Link has an empty bottle in his hand instead of the hookshot. What this essentially is doing is detaching the hookshot from Link's hand, but keeping it loaded and invisible. So right now, it is invisible but still in the same position and angle it was before I drank the milk. When you pull out the hookshot again, that invisible hookshot will become visible again and start moving in the direction it was facing when I drank the milk. If it hits something that it is able to latch onto, Link will be pulled to it. For more details on how this works, Fig has a full video which I've linked in the description. This glitch has various effects including clipping through walls, hookshot jumps, get item manipulation, and slash hovering, but in this video I'm going to focus on one in particular, which is known as remote hookshot displacement. That refers to manipulating where you get pulled. There are two types of hookshot displacement, and here's an example video of each. For the first one, I set up remote hookshot by drinking the milk near this torch, while aiming the hookshot. I walk over to another position in the room, and use the bottle as a first-person item. Then when I pull the hookshot out again, Link gets pulled to the position where I pulled out the bottle. Here, I set up remote hookshot on the other side of the torch. Then, I run across the room and pull out the bottle over there. When I pull out the hookshot this time, Link gets pulled over near the torch, but he goes past it, through the wall into the out-of-bounds room. So, in this video, I'll be explaining why these two different effects can happen and how they work. So, when you use the hookshot, the game uses a hitbox, shown here in red, to check for the hookshot's collision with cylindrical actors. That means an actor which uses a cylinder for its collision. The hitbox travels forward in the direction you shot the hookshot, and the end of the hitbox on one frame is the start of the hitbox on the next frame. If this hitbox intersects a hookshotable cylindrical actor, such as a torch, Link will get pulled to it. The hookshot uses a separate system to check for polygons though. It uses a Raycast, which is when the game draws an imaginary line from one position to another and checks if that line intersects a collision polygon. This will detect hookshotable scene collision as well as hookshotable actors which are made up of polygons, such as chests. If the polygon is marked as hookshotable, Link will get pulled to it. If not, the hookshot will clank and Link will stay put. So the hitbox is used to check for cylindrical actors, while the Raycast is used to check for polygons. Here's an example of the Raycast and the hitbox when the hookshot moves forward in one frame. The red rectangle is the hitbox, and the line is the Raycast. The midpoint of the Raycast is the location of the hookshot actor on the current frame. The end of the Raycast is a position slightly further than the position it will be on the next frame, and then the game takes the difference between those and subtracts from the midpoint to get the starting point of the Raycast. So the Raycast is checking for walls behind and in front of the hookshot in its current position. On each frame that the hookshot is being shot, this function runs. It checks if the hitbox of the hookshot has collided with a cylindrical actor which is hookshotable. If so, it will set up for Link to get pulled to that actor on the next frame, and leaves the function. It does not update the hookshot's position in this case. If the hitbox did not collide with an actor with cylindrical collision, which is hookshotable, on this frame, it goes down here. The hookshot has a timer which counts down by 1 each frame it is moving forward, and when the timer hits 0, it will retract. So here it is subtracting 1 from the timer and checking if it's 0. If so, it will check if it is latched onto something. If it has, then it'll calculate the x, y, and z velocity it needs to give Link so that he gets pulled towards the hookshot actor. If the timer is not 0, that means the hookshot should continue moving forward and use a Raycast to check if it hits any polygons on this frame. So here it is updating the position of the hookshot and performing some calculations to find the beginning and the ending point of the Raycast. If the Raycast hits a polygon, it updates the hookshot's position to the intersection point of the Raycast and the polygon. Then it sets the timer to 1, so it will be decreased to 0 on the next frame this function runs. Then it checks if the polygon can be latched onto by the hookshot, and if so, it sets up link to start being pulled by the hookshot. One strange effect of remote hookshot is that if you use the empty bottle after drinking the milk, but before pulling the hookshot again, Link will use the bottle as a first-person weapon. It also shows the bow model in Link's hands. When you pull out the bottle like this, it updates the position and the angle of the invisible hookshot to where Link's right hand is. So now the invisible hookshot is where Link is standing. In this clip, I aim the hookshot, drink the milk, and walk a few steps away and pull the bottle as the first person item. When I pull out the hookshot again, it begins firing. On the first frame that the hookshot's hitbox becomes active, it stretches from its previous position to its new position. Then, when the hookshot begins moving forward, it goes in the direction Link was facing when he pulled out the bottle. So now the hookshot is moving in this direction. The important part here is the stretched hitbox. If there's a large distance between the position where you drank the milk and the position where you pulled the bottle, the hitbox can be very large and stretch across the map. Earlier, I said that the first thing that the hookshot shooting function does is checking if the hitbox is intersected with the cylindrical hookshotable actor. If so, the game does not update the hookshot's current position or perform a raycast, and sets up Link to get pulled to the hookshot's current position on the next frame. When we pulled the bottle, it updated the hookshot's position, and so it changed where Link will be pulled. So, if you use the bottle to update the hookshot's position, and the hitbox intersects a torch on the first frame that it's active, you can manipulate where Link is pulled. This can be useful because Link ignores wall collision while being pulled by the hookshot. Here's one application found by Pushy. You drink the milk on this side of the torch, and then you walk over to this wall and use the bottle. The torch is between these two positions, so Link will get pulled to the location you pulled the bottle. If we walk over to this wall and start pulling the hookshot, then unequip it before the hitbox is active, Link will move towards the bottle pull location for one frame and clip through the wall, and then the pull will be cancelled. So this type of remote hookshot displacement can let you clip through certain walls if set up carefully. It's worth noting that after clipping through the wall, Link is stuck in a state where he can only move around by slashing. The other type of remote hookshot displacement makes use of the Raycast. The hookshot's previous position is the midpoint of the raycast, and the hookshot's next position is the endpoint of the raycast. The game then finds the difference between these two and subtracts from the midpoint to find the starting point of the raycast. So in this example, I drink milk by the torch. I then walk across the room and pull out the bottle. So the hitbox stretches from the position where I drank the milk to the position where I pulled the bottle, but the torch is not between those, so Link does not start getting pulled this frame. The game then performs a raycast to check for polygons. The midpoint of the raycast is the previous position of the hookshot, which is where I drank the milk. The next position of the hookshot is where I pulled the bottle. So that means the start point of the raycast is out of bounds in a room behind the torch. The raycast starts in the out-of-bounds room and hits this wall. When the raycast hits the wall, it updates the hookshot position to the intersection point of the raycast and the wall. Then, on the next frame, when the hitbox updates, it stretches from the hookshot's previous position to its next position, as usual. Its previous position is where I pulled the bottle, and its next position is where the raycast intersected the wall. So now the hitbox is extended in the opposite direction. The hitbox now intersects the torch, and that causes the game to pull Link to the hookshot's location. Its next location was updated to the intersected wall point, so that's where Link gets pulled. So, this type of remote hookshot displacement can pull you to out-of-bound polygons if set up carefully, and lets you have full control of Link afterwards. Here's another angle so that you can see that the first frame of the hitbox does not intersect the torch, but the second one does. So, in summary, there are two types of remote hookshot displacement. If a hookshotable actor with cylindrical collision is between the drink milk location and the bottle pull location, the hitbox will hit the actor on its first active frame, causing Link to get pulled to the bottle pull location. This can be used to clip through certain walls, but puts you in a state where you can only slash to move around. The second type of remote hookshot displacement occurs when the actor is nearby to the milk drinking location, but not between the bottle pull location and the milk drink location. This can cause the Raycast to start out of bounds and hit a polygon, and Link will get pulled to that polygon, then regain full control afterwards. Thanks for watching.